guys, oh my gosh, I'm really getting used to the whole like flash goals and things like that. So shout out to you guys who come out, help me, give me the love. I really appreciate it. I do, because I really am still learning.
You got a flash goal?
Yeah, it's like it hit a flash goal.
If you pin it, we can see it.
Let me see. So let me start. So I can pin this.
Oh yeah. So basically,
well, the last flash I had up there, it just disappeared. So I don't know.
Okay, so when you get the flash goals, hit those and then pin it so we can see it. So like basically, if I came in and it was a heart me, then you needed, and I gave you my heart me after you pinned it, that would contribute to your flash goal. So I would just need 2 more people to give you a rose, and you'll complete your goal. So I'll share it out so we can get 2 more people in here.
I'm learning, guys. I'm learning. But this is why I have NISA. This is why I have, the side TikTok coach, because she over here coaching people don't know it. But thank you, NISA, for that. So before I go over to Emma, I just want to say, this is really important for us. And I'm about to go live. Actually, okay, I've been live on here. So we are also live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And I want you guys to, just really lean in to this whole idea of just being authentic in a way where you've never even thought about it before, right? Because I always think that we're kind of told what to be, told how to be, right? For a long time in our lives, until we take that moment to decide. And in that moment, when we decide what we want in life, we have to act accordingly. And so this opportunity to be authentic, and to your point, NISA, having 3, 4, or 5 businesses, that's not easy, and it's not something to brag about if it's not working well, right? And the reason why I say that, NISA, because I don't want people to think that just because someone has 3, 4, 5, 6 businesses that they're doing well. That does not mean they are doing well. And as we were talking about marketing and doing business authentically, I also want you guys to think about, unless you see the back end of the business and unless you see the receipt, you will never know. It could literally be 3 business names without operation, right? Unless you see that thing operating, unless you see, people actually doing things in the market to make that business flow and make money, and to be a solopreneur doing 3 businesses, it's very difficult. So taking your time and being authentic and saying, this is where I'm at, guys. Like, yes, I have 3 business names, but I'm really only working on one, and I want to flourish that one business, like NICE is saying, to be the best business it could be. And then I can duplicate that for the next business and the next business. But you have to master one.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, preach. Okay, so Emma, go ahead. I want to hear from Emma real quick. And you guys, if you want to go ahead and drop comments, feel free to do so we can, get your feedback on this. But yeah, Emma, what do you have to say?
Well, I love this conversation because I think it is difficult, running a business. And there is, like you said, this push to perform. And I think the real difficulty for lots of people, especially women, is the whole thing of being visible, because it really forces us out of the comfort zone. I always talk about, and I've heard other people talking about this, about how, running your own business or starting your own business is like a personal development boot camp, because it forces you to grow if you want to be successful. Otherwise, if you stay in your comfort zone, if you stay in that kind of 9 to 5 headspace, or just working in a job headspace, you're not going to survive, and you're not going to be able to magnify yourself and really be big to attract the people like you can. So you have to really confront your fears, because it is scary. I know. I could definitely. I mean, every time I go on a new platform or try something new, it brings up that fear again. And what are you going to do? Are you going to lean into it, or are you going to lean away from it and go back? If you're serious about being successful in business, you've got to lean into it. But like you're talking about, Allegra, you've got to do it in a way that is aligned, without like trying to impress and trying to be. We're talking about being manipulative and fake. You want to show up really as you are, so that it doesn't feel ick to you, that it feels like, yes, I'm attracting the right people, there's magnetism here, I'm helping people, and I'm in my, zone of genius right now. That's what you want to feel. And you got to say, it takes some time and it takes some work. So that's why we're in the room today.
Yeah.
And I'll send it back to you, Allegra. Thank you so much for letting me speak.
Absolutely. And I'm really encouraged by this, guys. We are also on TikTok if you are listening on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. And I'm really inspired by the way that we have these conversations for a mindset shift, because like you said, truth be told, Emma, we can get caught up in it all, right? And it's not about what the hype is, what is happening right now. It's about who are you there for, right? First, you're there for yourself, right? To show up in business and to be productive in whatever measure that is. So it could be, learning your business by writing your business plan. It could be learning your business by looking at systems that work for your business. Whatever that looks like, right? And then it goes to your clients and the people you serve, right? The people that are looking for what you know and what you learn and what you can pour out of you. So I think we have to be very real, about some things that happen. And I will be very transparent with you guys. I was talking to someone this past weekend, and I think it was the weekend. I can't remember. My days are like kind of meshing together, y'all. But I was talking to someone one of them days, and I was just talking about how, when it comes down to your transparency and how you're showing up in the world, if you're not doing it for you, then who are you doing it for? Like, who are you showing up to change the life for? Who are you showing up to show something different, right? And I think when we think about that individually, like we start to talk about the people that we serve, we talk about how we serve them, then we start to identify who those people are. And I think that, to your point, Emma, is where sometimes we're not authentic in, right? My transparency, y'all, is that in the beginning of marketing my business, I looked at people like numbers. I was like, oh, I got 5 more followers. I got 20 more followers. Like, I got like 20 more people in a marketing funnel, right? I was so impressed by how many numbers I could stream down, into my space, that I forgot that each number was a person. I forgot that, even though I'm marketing this business and I'm showing up, that me showing up myself and me showing up for those people were more important than me just doing something like an AI or I don't know. There's so many different things out there. I don't want to start here. But whatever it is, I always remind people that people buy from people, not products. So when you do show up authentically, people will actually like what you have, no matter what it is, because they resonate with you. Whether it's your story, whether it's, something that you've done. I've seen people like change lives, and then they're like, oh my God, she helped me so much in life. Like, I just resonate with who she is as a person, or who he is as a person. So let's go into this real quick, guys, because I said ditching the pressure to fit into trends was the first area that we were going to cover. And that area is interesting because it says that it is tempting to jump on every trend. Like, do y'all feel like that? Like, raise your hand in the chat if you feel like when you see a new reel or a new trend, you're like, I got to do that now. Like, y'all help me out, speakers. Nice. Have you ever, are y'all the person where?
Well, I'm going to tell you this, right? There's like 2 parts to this. I'm not a dancer. Don't expect me to do a dancing trend reel. However, I have done it. But it wasn't one of my favorite to do. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to trends, now so I'm thinking as I'm talking, and when I post, so there's maybe a trending sound, or there may be like a trending hashtag. So what I'll do when I post, at least on TikTok, I'll go to that. I'll go to Creator Insight. I'll go to what's trending. However, what I'll do is I'll add my own caption and I'll add my own sound. I'll turn the sound down. So, that basically that's what they do. So you can get the views and everything. So that's one way of kind of using the trend to your advantage. Not doing the trend, but making it fit what you're doing for your business, if that makes sense. So it's like not conforming to the trend, but so I don't know. I'm like, at this point, I'm like, you know what? I was telling my niece or nephew the other day, I was like, I might as well just come up with my own trend. Like I was telling you about the whole Starbucks thing. So, but yeah, girl, it's like a twofold type of thing. Like it can be good, but then like I was saying before, do you want to fit in or do you want to stand out? And we're in an age where we want to stand out. So sometimes we got to take that risk of creating that own trend and letting it flop. So I got some stuff. I got to stop sleeping on myself. So anyway, I'm gonna close.
Okay, nice. Says she's gonna stop sleeping on herself. Okay, so this is powerful, guys, and I just really want to, I just want to commend you for, just being transparent about that, because I think we're all experiencing, like, just talking about what it means to even be a part of this whole marketing in our business, and then not being caught up in the trend of it. Okay. I love how you just said that you can be the trend. Like, word, y'all, like you can literally be the trend. And when you show up authentically, that's what happens, right? Like someone started these trends and they were not thinking about what someone else did. They weren't thinking about like, how can I do it like them? They like, people that start trends are the ones who are being authentically themselves. I mean, with the help of some boosted brands and marketing, but you can start your own trend. And that's what I mean by like, and I love how you said that, Nisa, because it talks about how it is tempting to jump on every trend. Like I'm one of those people where I like to be a part of community and I like to be a part of what people are doing. But when you're running your business, you cannot jump on everything. You have to be so aligned with what you're putting out there that, number one, it matches your brand. So every trend is not going to match your brand. And if you're following every trend without having a strategy to it, you're going to get burned out. I mean, I promise you. And it's so many things that you can do. But the question is, should you do it? And Nisa, you said it, I think, very well when you told the audience that you will take a trend that, is fitting. And then what will happen is you will put that trend out there so the algorithm can pick that thing up. So you're working a system, right? You're not just like, oh, I'm just going to follow a trend. You're like, no, I'm going to use the trend to my advantage. And then I'm going to work the system so that the algorithm will pick up what I'm putting out. But the message that I'm putting out is what I want people to hear. And that feels so good to be able to say, this is what I want, and to kind of be solid on that. So I love that you shared that. Emma, did anything come up for you, while Nisa was speaking? Because I think this is really important to understand. But before you speak, Emma, I will say this. It talks about, instead of constantly pivoting, like how some of us do, right? We're like, oh, we got to do this trend and that trend, right? You have to explore how to lead with what's actually true. So there may be things happening right now with your clients or with your audience that is just true. And it doesn't have to be a trend. It just has to be true. So sharing what they're experiencing, sharing what you're experiencing, sharing what's happening in the market of where you work in and where you operate in, that's going to be pivotal for your messaging. So we have to know that it's not about being hot, right? It's about, what's true. And when your marketing reflects you, it is timeless. It's timeless, not just trendy. I mean, and I'll say this last thing before I go to Emma. I was looking at a live stream, and you know how Facebook gives you like those flashbacks and they go, yeah, like, remember 2 years ago and 1 year ago and 4 years ago, you did this. And I'll look at these flashbacks. It could be, replays of my streams, or it could be, content I just put up just to encourage my audience. And do you know, I can still to this day, use the same content from 4, 5, 6 years ago. And it's because it wasn't trendy. If it was trendy, I would not be able to use any of that stuff when it popped on my feed, right? All I'd be able to do is just say, okay, now I got to create new content. But if you make content that is true, not just trendy, man, you're gonna blow up for the rest of your life.
Can I say something? One second.
Okay, and then we'll go over to Emma. Go ahead.
If anybody has a rose, we need one more rose in like less than 10 seconds. One rose, that's all we need. If y'all can give one rose, thank you so much. Okay, I'm quiet.
Bruce coming through with the boom, boom, boom. Thank you, Nisa. All right. So, guys, let's go over to thank you, Nisa. Listen, you got to have support, y'all. Emma, what came up for you at this point? Because this was pretty deep.
Wow, yeah, it is. I love what you shared about your marketing and being able to use it 5-6 years later, and it's still that timeless quality. And it's so true. I think that a lot of the jumping on trends thing, it can come from a place of fear, like you've got to, because we're not fully trusting. Wow.
Thank you, Moose. That was powerful. Sorry, Emma.
That's okay. Wow, so much happening here. Life goal achieved. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, so what was I saying? Yeah, performance. So it's because we want to be seen. So it's getting that balance right where we're visible, but we're not doing it in a way that feels ick, because it can be so easy if we're in performance and we've got to do a song and dance and it really is not who we are.
Yeah.
And so doing a sing and dance might be somebody's jam, but it's not everybody's jam, and not everyone is rocking that. Some people, they might try to do it and then just be like, everyone will be like, oh my God, what are they doing? So you've got to find what feels good for you. And that takes a bit of trial and error as well. So you can try things without feeling like you're performing. Just try it out and see what feels good and feels aligned for you. So there's a balance there between, you don't want to cut everything off and say I'm not trying anything new. Give it a try, see how it feels. Try new things, because you've got to find yourself in this game as well. And I think showing up as when you're on social media and stuff, you have to be really yourself. You have to find out what works for you, and without feeling like you're trying to be someone else. You've got to find out what feels good for you, what feels aligned for you. And sometimes you need a bit of guidance in that direction. That's why you need people like Allegra to help you with the strategy so that things will really work.
Yep.
I'll pass it back to you, Allegra.
Yeah, I mean, sorry guys, I'm closing these curtains. I'm realizing how dark it is. So yeah, I mean, exactly what you said, Emma. Trying things out is nothing's wrong with that. And I do know that I've come across a lot of situations where people were like, well, should I? And I'm like, why not? Why not try it out and see how it works? But, we want to just be very mindful, though, that, just to your point, Emma, that it has to be with intention. Like you have to have some level of strategy behind it where it's like, okay, I'm going to try this a couple of times. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then I'm not going to keep doing that. Right. And for me, I personally have been that hard-headed person to be like, oh, I'm going to keep doing it because it looks like it works. Right. It feels like it's supposed to work. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. But that's when we have to, like you said, get guidance and support. I do not believe in doing business alone. So that's just what it comes from that angle. And guys, we're going to go to the next part, which is marketing with integrity and confidence. And if you guys are, like I said, if you're on the live stream on YouTube, LinkedIn, or Facebook, you can come join us on TikTok at any time. And Moose, I see you, Moose. Moose is hiding down there. I know he said that he's not like full blown in business yet, but we're going to get him up here on stage at some point. Okay. Because we got to hear everybody's sides to this, right? Like, some people are not in business yet and they're looking for answers, right? Like, and I think that's beautiful because you're not there in the business yet, but you're preparing. And that's something I feel like is very lacking, y'all. Like people don't prepare enough anymore for what's to come. Like I hear so many people go, oh, build the plane on the way down. And that's great if you have to, but just remember that you don't have to, right? And so we have support for that. Y'all make sure y'all DM me if you need support. But this part, marketing with integrity and confidence, is the next side that I want to kind of bring up. Inspired. Hey, sis. Okay, look, got friends coming in the building. I love it. So it also says here that gone are the days of manipulative sales tactics and pressure based pitches. Your dream clients don't want to be sold to, they want to be seen, and they want to be invited into something meaningful. Now, I said we talked about this briefly last week, and David had chimed in on this, but I want to hear you guys as well, because when we think about this marketing with integrity and confidence, I was one that did the sales tactics. Like, I worked for a sales company years ago, and all they would say was make all these phone calls, make sure you say the same pitch over and over again. If they give you any kind of kickback, then you kind of like convince them. We would call them like rebuttals, and we have to convince them to buy. Nowadays, it doesn't work as much, right? Like, people are way more in tune, with how they want to spend their money and their time. And you just can't get them on the phone as easily to just be like, buy now, buy today. So gone are the days of that. But we do have an opportunity when we show up authentically. Your fingers are hurting. Thank you, nice. But we do have an opportunity to actually, market with integrity and confidence, and really gain the trust of people who are looking for us. Okay. And I think that as women entrepreneurs, especially, y'all, we have to lean into this side. I've seen so many women in careers that are like aggressively selling, and I'm like, that is not how we work. That's not how we work, y'all. Thank you for the hearts. So before I release it to our speakers again, these two areas, it's talking about really reframing marketing as an act of service and not a performance. Marketing is not to show, it's not to make things look pretty just for people to buy. It's to make sure that the message is out there for people to take advantage of the space that you open for them, right? And also, you have to make sure that your message and your offer is clear. There's so many times, guys, where, even myself, I had to clarify my message. And sometimes you need someone to tell you that. Sometimes you need someone to say, hey, I hear you talking every day and I hear you saying what you say, but I don't understand what you do still. Right? Have you ever had people like that you've heard say their pitch and you're like, yeah, but I still don't know what you do. or I still don't get it. Right? So, being able to be clear about your marketing, it does take authenticity. Because if you try to follow a trend or mimic someone else's marketing style, what will happen is you'll become very unclear about what it is that you are doing. So you have to be very clear. You have to also have a lot of courage, guys. Like, this takes a lot out of you to realize that you have to set yourself apart. You can't be like everybody else, right? And then you also have to have integrity. Like, this is something that I had to check myself on, okay? Because over promising and underpricing, right? I remember I had a service that I was like, yeah, and I guarantee. And then someone was like, I wouldn't use the word guarantee. Because when people are expecting something from you and you're not able to deliver based off of maybe something that they didn't do or something like a company you work with didn't do, then now that looks bad on you as the provider of that service or offer. So we want to lean into, being able to have integrity when we're, being authentic about our brand. And that also means that if I'm in a space where, I don't have to be this big time expert, to start a business. My integrity states that I'm where I need to be to help people who are in the space that I can help them in, right? And as I grow, then maybe I can help more people with, a higher level of service because I've learned more and I've done more with the clients that I'm working with. But I've heard so many people, guys, that are like, I can't launch the business yet. I have to learn all these things and I don't have as much expertise as these people. And it's like we're following trends again, right? Because being authentic means that I can show up wherever I'm at and I can teach what I know where I'm at. And those individuals are the ones that are for me. So I would love to hear, you guys' feedback on it. Emma, I'll start with you this time because I started with nice the last two times. But for this marketing with integrity and confidence, does anything come up for you?
Well, I think you summed it up perfectly. I think, it is really difficult to find your groove. And we want to be marketing with integrity. That's so important. And I was just thinking while you were talking about all the times that I've been approached that have been a bit ick. People are still, doing those dropping in your DMs and the first message is like trying to get you on a call, trying to sell you something. So I do think that those strategies they must be still working for some people, but they don't feel good when I even think about doing them. It feels yuck to be at the receiving end of them. So I couldn't do that with someone else because it just feels so out of alignment. And the trick is, really having the confidence in yourself that you can stand out without using those strategies that don't feel good. Even when a lot of people are still doing them, you can still stand out. Actually, that can make you stand out of the crowd when you are still being yourself and doing your business in a way that feels aligned and clean to you. I think those are the businesses that are going to stand the test of time because, like you were saying, Allegra, these strategies that are a little bit manipulative. They stop working after a while because people catch on as to what's going on and people become more savvy. But the people who are using more aligned strategies and who aren't performing and dancing a tune and trying to manipulate people into saying yes, they're the people that get the happy customers and they get that win-win-win situation overall. So these are the businesses that last the test of time, and you want to keep your business operating for as long as it's a long game. This isn't a sprint. This is a marathon that we're doing here. So it's not about getting people as fast as we can. We want to be, amping up for the long sprint of really maximizing the time that we help people and the amount that we help people with our work.
Yep. Thank you for that feedback, Emma. I would love to hear from Nice as well, because this marketing with integrity and confidence, I think it really is something that can shift the mindset of like just how I had that mind shift, right? I was in sales for a while and I just thought, numbers. But when you actually become more integral and you become more confident in who you are, right? You show up differently. But Nice, what came up for you?
This is a really great topic. So, okay, I used to sell jewelry, and then I also used to sell I guess you can say Electrolux vacuum cleaner, air purifiers, and things like that. But as it pertains to like the business, it's like we have clarity. Like I said before, this year is the most I've had clarity in my business. Help and the help that I received, I've been implementing, probably haven't implemented everything, but I've implemented a great number of things that has brought me a lot of clarity in the business. And to be clear is to be kind. So in business, I want to make sure that I'm kind to my customers. I want to be kind to those that are looking at Miracle Moments and like, oh, okay, that's very interesting. What does she offer? So when they look at me, I want to be kind. So I have to be clear in my messaging of what I offer. And doing that is just knowing, how to be clear with like, okay, so I offer flyers, I offer business cards. Like I have to be clear. And then when you were talking about the part about the word usage for guarantee versus like over promising and then under delivering or something, like using the word guarantee. So I'm very I'm very cautious of the words that I use because I'm like, oh Lord, I don't want them to think that, by me saying this word, they're getting, this grand thing. But in actuality, I'm giving them what they are paying for, what their quality of what their budget is for, if that makes sense. So I'm learning in this. I want to, of course, give them the utmost miracle moment experience. But I want them to understand, like, this is what you're getting, but you could get more. So basically, under what is it? Under promise and over deliver, something like that. I guess that's the word for it. So, but yeah, it's just a lot that came out, and I probably can't even get it all out. But it's a great topic in what you're saying, and it's definitely and the marketing thing is really good because this weekend I was in a place called Oriental. The event that I was going to hadn't started yet. So it's like me and my sister, we went walking down the road. So we saw a gallery place, and then we saw on the way there, we saw like a Rick's barbecue. So when I went in there, I noticed they had a place. No, when I was leaving out, I noticed they had a place for business cards. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to set my business cards up here. I hadn't posted the video yet. And then I forgot to take some of theirs. But then the place where we ate at, they had a spot for business cards. So I shouldn't have done this, but there was a little card thing where, you know how you set your cards in like a little card holder. So there was one left. So I was like, okay, because I had just sat my cards down on the actual counter. So I took the last card that was there and I just put my cards right in that space, right? So, and then I took a picture because, you know, it's part of marketing. And then what I did was I took a few of the cards that were out. And what I plan to do throughout this week is to follow up with those people that I got the cards for, just to, you know, make a connection. So marketing is very important in everything that we do. At the end of the day, we just have to be clear on our messaging to convert those that are looking to, because you never know if we have something that they actually need, but they won't say if we're not being as clear as we can be. So that's all I got.
That's a whole sermon right there. So truth be told, and I love how you broke this down, and it was over promising.
We're at 5K. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
What'd you say?
We're at 5K, 5.
Okay, boom. Nice to got us to 5K, y'all. Thank you guys for, you know, just really giving us love and, you know, giving us the hearts. We always try to reach the 5K mark, I think, at this point. So it's like always 5K. So here's what I will say, too, before we go back to this. And we're about to finalize this, guys, because you know how we're mindful of time and we were a little behind the hours. So, yeah, next is 10K. I knew it. I already knew where Nice was going. So what we're going to do before we tune down this live is we were talking about marketing with integrity and confidence. And Nisa, for your takeaway, I love it. I love the fact that when you talk about being clear, that is not just resonating with your clients, it's also your partners and people that you do business with outside of your sales. Because if your message is not clear, right, then even when you go out and do things in the world, you won't know where to place your business cards. You won't know who you want to connect with. You won't know who needs to connect with you. And you also won't know what to say to individuals when they need to hear it, right? And then we said earlier that people buy from people, not necessarily from products. So if you have a clear message and it's integral, meaning that, you know, I have the courage to say where I'm at right now in my business. Like I may not be able to get you to a 6-figure business as a coach, but, you know, and I'm just giving you guys an example because I have gotten people to 6 figures. So I'm not going to say that realistically, but say if I'm a coach and I'm not able to, and I've never hit 6 figures before, let's put it like that. I'm a coach and I've never hit 6 figures. And now I'm trying to coach people and everyone online is like, I help you get to 6 figures. I help you get, right? That right there, maybe for me as a coach now, I'm going to feel like that's pressure because coming on the scenes as a coach that has never been at 6 figures, I may feel like, well, if I show up on the scene as a coach that has never helped people to 6 figures, then why would they want to work with me? Well, there are people that are not ready for 6 figures. There are people that literally are just trying to start the business. There are people that literally just need marketing support. They're just like, I'm trying to get to 6 figures. I just want to learn how to get my business out there so I can get to like 4 figures, then get to 5 figures, then get to 6 figures, right? So I have to be realistic as a coach right? And where I'm at, if I never made it to six figures, which I have, y'all, and I literally am now going up to multi six figures. Now, in this time, I can coach people with six figures and multi six figures. But before I made six figures, if I were to come up and say, hey guys, I can get you from where you're at right now to six figures in 6 months, not knowing how to do that, my message is going to be jacked up. And so we have to be authentic about that, because I had to start there, guys, where working with small businesses, and in a beta testing fashion, I tested it out. I tested it out. So even before working with individuals, I wasn't able to get them to six figures, but in the beta testing, I may have gotten somebody to six figures. So now I can say, I get you to six figures, right? So it doesn't always have to feel like you have to follow the trend that is happening, right? And trends are not just TikToks and reels on Instagram and dancing videos. Trends are also things that are happening in the market with your sales, with your marketing itself. I remember when they were talking about doing a whole bunch of Facebook ads and Instagram ads and telling everyone you need to run an ad. And my question was, why? Because if you don't organically know your audience yet, then who are you marketing to? Because Instagram and Facebook and all these other, they don't know your audience yet. Just like you're figuring that out, they're going to try and figure it out too. But what they're going to do is take your money first. So they're going to take your ad money, and then they're going to run your ad, and then about a month later, then you'll start to see some things trickle in. But they don't know your audience unless you work it. So the work really still comes from showing up authentically as you are, and just making sure you take that time to really be integral, know who you can help at this moment. You may not be able to get people to where you want to get them to, but you can definitely get supported where you're at by taking on people who need you right now, and then learning what you need to learn to work with those people later. Nice. So you say you're going to ask me about that?
Yeah, that's crazy that you mentioned that, because you know how like when you're professional mode on Facebook, it's different weekly goals and things that you have to do, and one of them I know on my end have been create a Facebook ad. But I'm like, would this benefit me, or how? I'm like, I don't know. I think every time I go to ask you, I forget.
It's okay. It's okay. I think Toria's on. Let's see if Toria wants to come up and add. I'm sorry, I'm here on a live stream as well, guys. So I'm telling you, that's a good question, because there's organic marketing, which starts with just being able to show up like we're showing up now, right? We didn't put an ad out, we didn't pay for anything, we got on a free app, and we literally just started talking about what we do. Now, that takes a lot more time than running an ad that Facebook has out there. So for a lot of us, it just seems like it just saves you time, right? To just run an ad. But the problem with a lot of us, and I only recommend running ads, this is just my recommendation, guys. You can, do whatever you want to do. But if you're going to run a Facebook ad, make sure that you have your audience already. Make sure that you already have built up a presence on your social media where they've seen you and they understand who you are. Because your Facebook ad, it can retarget your audience so that they can go down your funnel even more, right? And then it can pull in similar audiences because they already know your algorithm and you've already selected that option. But until you actually organically build yourself up, like until you get out there in the world and really get to know people and let them know you're honestly going to pay more in the beginning. You're going to pay more because the ad space, that's their job. Facebook does not make money off of us. They make money off of the businesses that run ads. So you think they're just going to automatically give you what you, no. They're going to make you work for it, right? Just like anything. So always do the organic first, then switch over to the Facebook ads and all the ad marketing, because you can retarget and you can find more people like that already resonate with your message. Does that make sense, Nysa?
Well, that makes a lot of sense, because I thought about that too. I'm like, well, if I give them my money, and I don't see no profit, I'm just losing. Well, not losing in the end, but in the retrospect of Facebook and all the ad stuff, I'm like losing out on money, but they're gaining from me, and I'm not even gaining from them. So yeah. This makes sense.
It's calculated risk, guys. You're not gonna not take a risk. It's just a calculated risk. All right. I want to go before we go over to Emma. Emma, just hold off for a moment, because I want to give some. I want to give some love to Toria, who's come up for the first time in our Mindset Mondays. And Toria has been part of our communities, and also, we have Toria in our spaces, and so we want to kind of just let her show you. We'll tell you guys what she does first, and then also, Toria, share whatever you have on your heart. If you like, if you heard something resonates with you, feel free to do so. So I'll start with you, and then we'll go back over to Emma. So go ahead with introduction, Toria.
Okay, I don't. You can hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's the first time I ever did this, so I'm like, okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Toria Howard, and I'm a real estate educator. That's what I've been telling myself. I've been saying that for a minute. Well, I help people realize their real estate dreams through however that is. I help with financial coaching, and I also, structure plans for people to get them on board to buying their, first home, or show them how to sell their home, or if they have a home and they don't know what to do with it, how to keep up with it. I show them how to have a financial plan for that. So that's me in a nutshell. I was just caught you live. I was out to lay down, taking a little nap.
Oh,
but I was like, let me tap it in for a little minute, because I think I got an appointment. So like 4:00. So I was trying to close my eyes for a little second. But you're amazing. I love it. You need some business coach. She definitely helped me. That's why my TikTok. One of the reasons why my TikTok is blowing up, because of the strategies that I implemented from the thing she's been mentoring.
Go ahead, sis. Pop off.
So yeah, tap in.
I love it. Thank you, Tori. Appreciate it. And you guys, make sure you get with Tori, because it's not just about real estate itself. It's about really the journey of real estate, right? You're not just going to buy the home. You're going to maintain it. You're going to grow with it. It's going to be an investment, not a waste. But I do want to just kind of streamline back into this, because we're almost done, guys. And thank you, Tori, for jumping up in the middle of your day. I really appreciate you being here. I do want to kick off the last part of this, which is showing up with your values, your voice, and your vibe. This we're going to end with this one, because I personally was like, I got to talk about the vibe, right? Because each person, we all have our different ways of showing up, and sometimes it may not look like someone else, right? And the way that they show up may look so real, and you're like, oh, I want to show up like that. But what we try and do is mimic it rather than just dig deeper into who we are. So we're going to talk about that part. And then before we leave, I'm going to share just a few ways that we can really get out of this mindset. Okay. And I'm going to be pretty brief with that. Just to make sure that we have tangible action steps this week. Okay. As we do every single week. Okay. We do the work here. So before we tone it down, I want to say this. Emma, you were coming up next, and I'm going to skip over to marketing with integrity and confidence just to get to the point, because we can review this next week. Showing up with your values, voice, and vibe. You are the brand's secret sauce. Have you ever heard of a secret sauce? It's like the thing that nobody knows how to put that equation, like the Coca-Cola formula. Like nobody knows what's in that, right? So they have a secret sauce. So does Burger King. I don't know if you guys, I used to eat Burger King. I don't do it anymore, but there's always that Big Mac sauce, and you'd be like, what is in the sauce? So there are just secret sauces that no one can actually they just can't figure out unless you tell them. And even with that, they may not make it. They're not going to make it the same way. So too many entrepreneurs silence their real voice. Chick-fil-A, yes, absolutely. I think they put salt and sugar in the batter, just FYI though. But a lot of entrepreneurs silence their real voice, trying to be professional or perfect. Okay. And I think that's really where we were hinting towards earlier was, I have to sound a certain way, and it has to look a certain way. But the truth is that people connect with people, not the polished personas or the energy, right? So how you bring your whole self to your business, whether it's in your beliefs, your story, or your energy, matters. Okay. And I remember, and we're talking about a lot of different areas here, because being the person I am, I'm a believer as well as a business owner. And I was one of those entrepreneurs that didn't want to tell her story. I was like, I don't have a story to tell. What are you talking about? And then I think I shared in Nicest from earlier. I was like, I asked God one day, well, give me a story, Lord. Like, I don't have a story. And then he showed me everything. And I was like, oh. And being able to use what I went through to help me in my business was very difficult because I didn't want to share all the embarrassing moments. I didn't want to share, the pivotal times where I had to, where I felt embarrassed or I felt ashamed or whatever. But what I did understand was that bringing my whole self to my business means that I have to get over myself. I have to get over things that I feel like, I'm going to feel judged about, or I feel like somebody's going to, not like me anymore because now I'm doing this or doing that. And when you do that, right, when you respect your values, when you respect your voice, like I deserve to say what I have to say. When you respect your own vibe, like I can show up like this. The biggest question that it makes me laugh all the time is when people go, Allegra, is this okay to do? Right. And it could be something is like posting a certain type of content. And they go, is this okay? Is this right? And I go, you tell me. You tell me, do you feel comfortable posting that? And do you feel like that's right based off of what you know? And the answer comes out after that, right? Because sometimes people want the validation, but you don't need anyone to validate you but you. I promise you. And I think the comfort of being validated that comes with that is really what we're looking for, right? We're looking for someone to just agree with us. Like, yeah, that's okay, sis, you could do that, but I'm going to give you permission right now. If there is something that you feel like you couldn't express yourself in your business, like you couldn't talk about your faith, you couldn't talk about your values, or you couldn't talk about, your story. If you feel any type of way about that and you feel like somebody needs to say that's okay, I'm telling you right now, that's okay. The thought that you had to post that, that's okay. The thought that you had to make that move in your business without having to consult with someone, that's okay. It's okay. And when you move in that way, guys, what's going to happen is you're going to find people following you that really wanted that type of energy, right? Because people are just not going to always validate you. So to see someone bet on themselves no matter what, it's contagious. It's contagious. And that type of vibe, I'm sorry, but you can't replace that type of vibe. So people want you to be confident, and people also want you to make them understand, why are you on this journey? And you being able to, understand bringing your whole self to your business is going to be the most important thing. So if there's any way that you feel like you're hiding, that you can't be who you are in your business, that's one way to identify that you're not bringing your whole self to your business. So there are some areas that we can work on. And also when your audience feels your vibe and your values, like it's not just about your vibe, it's about your values, what you actually believe in, guys. You can freely talk about that. I remember being in my 9-to-5 job, just to give you guys a segue, and my boss telling us that we can't discuss certain things at work, right? Like the nerve. Like, oh, so I can't talk about, my faith here. I can't talk about, outside stuff here. Like I'm only restricted to being this robot of a employee, but I'm a whole person, right? I have more to me than just work. So what I realized is that in entrepreneurship, going from that employee to entrepreneur, that was very difficult because then you were having, like me personally, I had to get outside of that mindset of I can't bring my whole self because I couldn't do that in my 9-to-5. But in my business, I can bring every bit of me, and the people who are, aligned with that, they love it. So I want you guys to take that and make sure that, if you want that real connection and loyalty from your followers, that's exactly how you need to be. I want to hear from you, Emma, before we give some tangible solutions on what came up for you in that part of the conversation, and then we'll start to close.
Yeah, I love this. This is all about showing up as who you really are. And that's difficult if you don't know who you are, because lots of people don't know yet, because maybe they've been in a job that never felt like them for a long time, or they never got to explore and try things and experiment. So that's really Have we lost you? Are you back? I just lost you for a second. But yeah, I think the experimentation is really important, and just trying things and being real with your people. That's it. Like sharing the difficult times. Not trying to keep it clean and perfect, because we get a lot of that, and it's not that helpful. And it's also quite fake, because everyone goes through messy periods. That's life. The success is not linear. Success is kind of messy, and trying new things, and it doesn't work, and then you try it in a different way, and you try it again. This is how growth happens. It's not like a perfect Instagram linear line of success like so many people portray it. It's much more. You got to keep it real. That's really what it's about here. So I'm really curious as to what Allegra is going to share. I'll pass it back to you, Allegra.
Yeah, and before we talk about these tangible ways, Nisa, I would love to give you the mic, just in case you have anything you would like to share about that part on showing up with your values, your voice, and your vibe. I'll give a moment for that, and then we'll move on.
Yeah, everything that you shared was really good. The powerful part about how we don't need validation to make a move, as you know, just left my daytime job of 10 years, and that, for me personally, that was a heavy decision, but I knew that in order to grow, I had to leave some things behind. So, or not, I guess leave it up behind. Sometimes I don't even use the right word choices. But anyways, y'all get what I'm saying. Had to make a transition, had to make a choice, right? So, and in that making the choice, I think in my heart I knew, but in my head I was like, what is this person gonna think? What is this? You know how we get in our own feelings and thoughts, and like, well, what is this person gonna think? What is that person? But at the end of the day, it's my life. As long as I consult God, and He approves the transition that's being made, then that's all that matters. So, yeah, this is a great topic. This has been amazing. Just reflecting on everything. So thank you so much. I'm gonna keep it short because the last time I kept it long. But thank you.
Yeah, I know we definitely went over the hour with this one. So guys, let's just tone it down, okay? Because this was an absolutely great conversation. Thank you, Emma, for that. And I appreciate you guys with all the hearts and the love. We are here on TikTok. We are also live streaming on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, just to give the audience a way to access this genius. I'm always blown away by our conversations, guys, because the truth of the matter is, we do want to have safe spaces to talk about things that are real. And these things really happen to every single person that I've come across. So, no one feels alone. No one feels like they have to do it alone. We come together. So these are some tangible ways that we're going to fine tune. And I'm going to end with this is number one, in order to ditch that pressure, right? Because we always kind of feel that pressure to follow the trends. I want you to look at your last 5 to 10 posts on social media. And I want you to ask yourself, is this me, or am I mimicking what I think I should do? Okay. Is this me, or am I mimicking what I think I should do? So, so this is just a little, test for you guys, like a little assignment. If you really want to improve in this area and be more authentic for yourself and your customers, then you want to make sure that you ask yourself these questions. The why questions are the best questions. If you want to level up in your everyday life, ask yourself why every day, and for different reasons, right? Because if you ask yourself why am I, posting this? Is it me, or am I mimicking what I think I should do? Then your brain has no choice but to answer that question. So that's one thing I want you guys to do. So audit your content this week. Another area I want you to look at is unfollow so you can refocus. Like mute or unfollow accounts that trigger comparison or pressure. I promise you, what'd you say, Emma?
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I was on mic.
It's okay. I thought you chimed in on that one, because I personally had to go in my follower group, guys, and I had to unfollow and take off notifications for accounts that I previously had, because the accounts were triggering me. It was like, you have these new trends, and some accounts are just trend accounts. They did not feed the narrative of what I was doing on social media. And I don't go on social media to just be on social media. That's the truth. So I honestly, if I'm on there, it has to feed my bottom line, which is me being there for my audience and the people I serve. So when I look at this, mute, unfollow accounts that trigger that comparison, right? And curate your feed to protect your peace. So if you do those two things, you're going to ditch the pressure to fit into a lot of those trends as much, and then just work on yourself. The part of marketing with integrity and confidence, guys, know your offer inside and out. Like, it's funny to me where someone goes, yeah, I want to do all these big things in my business. I'm like, what's your offer? And they're like, oh, I just help people do A, B, and C. What's your offer? Your offer is basically what people are going to make an exchange for. So I may say to you guys, what I do is I guide women entrepreneurs to declutter their business, clarify their vision, and build generational wealth without overwhelm. Now, that's my pitch. It's not my offer. Like, I'm not, selling that as a service, right? That is what I do overall. Now, in that, sorry guys, I got a phone call. But in that pot of that pitch, I have several services that I offer to help women, declutter their business, to help them clarify their vision, to help them build generational wealth without overwhelm. But those are different services that I offer, for the different audiences that I serve. So I think being able to know your offer inside and out, and knowing that you have an offer to offer, that's powerful. So being confident comes from clarity, being clear. If you're not clear, write down who your offer helps and how it helps them, and what transformation it provides. Okay. That's how you get clear on your offer. Now, if you don't have an offer, it's even easier, because now this week you get to write down what your offer will be. And then you get to make sure that it's clear, that you know how it helps people, and what transformation it provides. Okay. So that's the second part, when you are learning how to build integrity and confidence in your marketing. And then also avoid those tactics, y'all. I'm still working on this. I'm still, because I have a sales background and I use a lot of these different tactics and marketing psychology, it does become a little difficult to unlearn these things. And for some of us who have been in this space, like, this is a limited time offer, act now, do it right away, right? Like, we have to kind of use more empowered language. So this is what I would say, that if you're seeing that there's some manipulative language that you're using, just go ahead and look at what you posted. Instead, think about language that inspires your audience and invites them in, rather than makes them feel pressured to buy today. And that can mean a lot of different things. And I'm not going to give you guys any suggestions. If you want to, get some more coaching, definitely DM me. But the only thing I'll say is go to ChatGPT and get some ideas. Okay. And the third place that we talked about is showing up with your voice, your values, and your vibe. And this is the last one before we end here, guys. So I want you to make sure that you have, you're writing these down, and that you're going to actually practice this week. It's one thing to hear something. It's another thing to actually implement it, because now your brain knows that you're about business. If you keep listening to things and then you don't actually implement it, your brain is going to be like, why you keep wasting our time, right? So if you're going to learn something, implement it, right? At least try it out. So the last part is when you are showing up with your values, voice, and vibe, define your brand values. So that means that I want you to write down 3 to 5 values that will guide your content, your offers, and your brand voice. Now, this is what we call core values in your business, but I want you guys to do this separately. Do it on your own. Write down your brand values. Our brand values in the Wing community is honesty, transparency, authenticity, collaboration, community, and connection. Okay. We literally are like, these are the areas that we know that when we show up, that's how we show up. So if anything comes out and it's not authentic, we're like, boom, out of here. That's not part of our core value. So we want you to do the same thing, right? Establish 3 to 5 brand values that really stand out, so that when guide your content and offers and your brand voice, that it speaks exactly that. Okay. And the last thing here is stop editing yourself to sound more professional. Stop editing yourself. You sound great the way you are. You sound wonderful. The same way I gave you guys permission earlier to do whatever it is that you say you want to do without having someone else's validation, I'm also giving you permission right now to speak up exactly how you sound and how you are. Speak up. There's no one stopping you but you. So you don't have to sound more professional, or you don't have to start, doing anything special. Just start talking and writing in the way that you naturally speak, and you will be a-okay. The people that are there and ready for you are going to love the sound of your voice. They're going to love the way that you show up, and they're going to follow you. And just like Emma said, you don't need a lot of people. You just need the right ones. All right. So I'll end with that, guys. We have some actionable steps we can share throughout the week. I'll get some final takeaways from our guests today. Make sure you guys follow them and connect with them if you need their support. And then we'll be back here next Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for another Mindset Monday. I will start with you, Emma. What are your final takeaways?
Just getting on the mic. Yeah, I loved what you said. I've been taking notes what you shared, because it is good to have, guided steps to really help you to get the takeaways from this conversation. So I think that's great. It is really important to be yourself. And I know people say that all the time, like when you go on a date or when you do something, be yourself. And it's hard to know sometimes what that means. But I think the way you explained it just now, Allegra, was really cool. It's like you want to be you. Stop trying to be someone else. Stop trying to fit in this box of what's okay. People, like we've just shared here, you only need one, two. You need a couple of people in your world who are ready to say yes. You don't want the whole world. Trust me. You don't want everybody to say yes to your offer, because a lot of them are going to be terrible customers. You don't want them. You want the right ones. You want people who like what you say, who vibe what you're saying, and people you can actually help. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you're not going to get the resonance. You want to get good feedback from people. You want to be working with the right people. It's not just about getting anyone through the door, especially if you're doing some kind of individualized work. That is just going to drain the life out of you if you just let anyone come into your world, come into your coaching program, because there are people out there, guys, who will complain no matter what they get. They will complain. They will never be happy. You don't want those kind of people in your world. You want people who are ready for the change that you're offering. So you're not trying to get anyone in the door. And this is the difference, I think, with the kind of scarcity tactics and those strategies. It's all coming from that place. There's not enough. I need this person to say yes, or I'm going to die. That's what scarcity tells you. It's got you in the grasp of fear. But when you've got a lot to offer, you want to say no to people. Just because somebody's ready to say yes doesn't mean you want to take them on. Mm-hmm. It could be a nightmare client. So you only need one or two. You only need a couple of people. You need a few people, a handful of people maybe. How many people do you need? So that's something else that you can think about to really narrow your offer. How many people do you need? How many people are in the world? You need 10 people for your program, or what is it for you? How many people do you need to say yes to your offering? And really focus on there rather than trying to get everyone to say yes, because that's not going to work. And you really, trust me, don't want that to work anyway. You don't want everyone in the door working with you, because you got to choose who you like with friends, boyfriends, girlfriends. You got to be discerning about who you let into your world. Yes. Otherwise, you're going to destroy your own peace. Mm-hmm. And with that, I'm gonna send the mic back to you, Allegra.
Oh gosh, that's a whole word and a half. I'm gonna sit back on that one. That was really good, Emma. Yeah, we are just tuning down for the live stream. So I would love to hear from Nisa last, and then we will give you guys some final guidance. Nisa, any feedback, any takeaways?
Oh Lord, it was a lot. That's so good. Just continue to show up for your business, because nobody can show up for your business like you can. So just show up for your business, and no matter what happens, just keep thriving through it all, because in the end, you will win. So that's all I have. And just remember, every moment in life is your miracle moment, even when you start the business.
I love it. Thank you, Nisa. Okay, so y'all, you guys see the quality of my partners and individuals in my circle of trust when it comes down to doing these live streams. So please make sure that you follow them. Also, if you're on any of the other live streams, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, you could also join us here on TikTok every Monday at 2 p.m. to actually join the live stream. My partners are also, they may join me here on this live stream on StreamYard. So we'll see what that looks like in the future. But if you have any questions, guys, also make sure that you drop your questions in my DMs, or you come to these lives and you ask your questions in the comments. We love, love, love to hear questions, mainly because there are people that do have questions. They're just not bold enough to ask them. So we want to hear from the bold ones. Drop your questions so we can help. You got kicked out? Oh, drop your questions so we can help support other people in these places in their life. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining again. We will see you here next Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Nice, I see you got back in good. 2 p.m.
Eastern. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
I was like, did she shut off already?
No, girl, we still here. But 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, guys, we'll see you back here. Also, I want to mention that I do have a couple of my partners that join me also throughout the week. Emma, thank you so much for jumping in on a Monday. If you guys tune back in on Thursday, we will be live streaming. I believe that's the 12 p.m. hour, where we will talk to you guys about the trauma matrix. And for those of you who don't know what the trauma matrix is, you will learn so much more about it when you get into the live stream with us on Thursdays. But Emma, do you want to give a little bit of a taste of what that is on your end, as far as how you help people with the trauma matrix? And then, we'll end the live.
Well, what I've noticed, I mean, Allegra and I, what we do is very aligned. We do different things, but we work with the same kind of people. Allegra is very much should get you on your strategy. The work that I do is I work a lot with women so that all those strategies can work for them. That means like releasing all this shame, all the self-doubt, that voice inside that tells you can't do that, or it'll never work for you, or I'm not good enough. That voice that shames you, I help you break up with that voice so it doesn't control you anymore, and you take back your power into your business, into your life, and you just you become free of all this shame. You can stand in your power, and that is the most magnetic thing of all, because so many people, especially women, we are so ruled by shame, and it's time. This is the time for women to rise in the world. Women of color, women of everywhere. It's time for women to rise, to take our power, to claim our success, and to really let your voice be heard, because the world needs you now. Mm-hmm. The world really needs you. It's time to stop hiding and to get out there and do what you're here to do.
Powerful. Thank you, Emma, for what you do. Make sure you guys tune in for that Thursday live stream. And also, Nisa has a beautiful room that she does every Monday at 10 a.m. on Clubhouse. Nisa, do you want to tell them about your room real quick before we get out of here? Nisa might have tuned out real quick.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my thing. But sure. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I have a room on Clubhouse in the Miracle Moments Mansion. You guys feel free to engage, connect. I don't even know if you can engage in chat. I don't know. I ain't been on there so long. I just go on there. But nevertheless, join us Monday at 10 a.m. where we discuss different topics. We just got done with a 4-part series, which has been amazing. You guys can check it out on Clubhouse. The replays are on, so check out our 4-part series. We would love to have you in the space on Mondays at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much, Dr. Allegra.
Amazing. All right, guys, we are now done with the live stream. We will see you back here next week. Go ahead, Nisa.
1 second. Oh yeah, and join us in the morning at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the One Community. If you are not, well, no, if you don't show, just want to invite people out at 6 a.m. if you're up.
Yeah, I've been kind of letting Nysa run that on her own, but I need to get back in there, Nysa. I don't want you to have to promote that by yourself. But yes, in the WIN community, every single Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have a room that you can get your day started in, honey. And I promise you, if you're whatever place you're in your life, this room will help you. Thank you so much, Nysa. And guys, we're going to get out of here. You guys have an amazing day. And thank you. Have an amazing day. We'll see you guys back here next time. Bye.